Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. A United Nations report released on Friday has warned that recent Israeli attacks on Lebanon and Hezbollah rocket fire into Israel may amount to serious violations of international humanitarian law. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, OCHR, has documented cases where Israeli strikes, including those on multi-story residential buildings, may have killed entire families in Lebanon, constituting potential breaches of international humanitarian law. The report also noted instances of ineffective or absent warnings from Israeli forces regarding strikes in Lebanon. Additionally, the UN identified Hezbollah's imprecise rocket fire, which damaged civilian infrastructure in Israel, as likely violating international humanitarian law. The report also addressed attacks on journalists, stating they could amount to war crimes if deliberate. Al Jazeera reported on these findings, noting that Amal Khalil, a Lebanese journalist, was killed in an Israeli airstrike, prompting accusations of crimes against humanity from Lebanese officials. The article mentions over 2,400 deaths in Lebanon since the escalation began and a fragile ceasefire currently in place. Al Jazeera reports that the Trump government has extended a 90-day waiver for the Jones Act, a measure aimed at easing rising energy costs linked to the ongoing war with Iran. This decision is part of a broader White House effort to mitigate politically sensitive fuel price spikes before November's midterm elections, where affordability is a key voter concern. The Jones Act, enacted in 190-20, mandates that goods transported between U.S. ports must use U.S.-flagged vessels, a law designed to protect the domestic shipping industry. While the administration hopes the waiver will dampen fuel prices, its impact is questionable, with some analysts suggesting only a modest decrease on the East Coast and potential cost increases elsewhere. Critics, including the American Maritime Partnership, contend that such waivers undermine American shipbuilders and workers. Polling indicates that 77% of registered voters hold President Trump responsible for the recent surge in gas prices, which was attributed to the war on Iran. UPI reports that Meta is partnering with Amazon Web Services, AWS, to significantly enhance its agentic artificial intelligence capabilities. The collaboration will see Meta integrating tens of millions of AWS Graviton cores into its computing infrastructure, with the flexibility to expand further as its AI demands grow. This strategic move is aimed at boosting data processing speed and bandwidth, crucial for AI systems that require continuous reasoning and task execution. Nafea Bashara, Amazon Vice President and co-founder of Annapurna Labs, acquired by Amazon in 2015, emphasized that this partnership leverages purpose-built silicon with AWS's full AI stack to power the next generation of agentic AI. Meta's head of infrastructure, Santosh Janardhan, highlighted the imperative of diversifying compute sources for scaling Meta's AI ambitions. The Graviton 5 chip boasts 192 cores and a five-fold larger cache than its predecessor, reducing communication delays by up to 33%. This deployment comes as Meta also announced a 10% workforce reduction, affecting approximately 8,000 employees globally, signaling a sharpened focus on AI development. UPI reports that Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, has announced the termination of an amnesty law, stating that over 8,600 beneficiaries had been granted full freedoms. This amnesty was intended to pardon alleged political crimes committed since 1999. However, human rights organizations have strongly criticized the decision, labeling it as arbitrary and unconstitutional. They also warned that the move overlooks hundreds of political prisoners who remain in detention. Rodriguez defended the law's implementation, asserting that it led to the release of thousands of individuals detained or subject to restrictive measures for political reasons. While she suggested that excluded cases could be processed through new mechanisms, groups like Provea and Acceso a la Justicia argue that repealing a law is not within the executive's power. Organizations like Foro Penal report 473 political prisoners and over 11,000 people under precautionary measures, raising concerns about legal uncertainty and the vulnerability of victims. Marshall Islands Finance Minister David Paul has expressed deep concern over the unpredictable nature of future fuel supplies, stating the nation is at the mercy of the market. The ongoing conflict in the Middle East between Israel, the United States, and Iran has created significant uncertainty, with Paul admitting, "Your guess is as good as mine." The Marshall Islands, heavily reliant on diesel generators for 90% of its electricity, has declared a 90-day state of economic emergency. This measure grants the government broad powers to curtail fuel consumption within the public sector. The country's most recent fuel shipment cost 3 times the normal price, with companies increasingly invoking force majeure clauses due to the uncontrollable global situation. Minister Paul is in discussions with the U.S. regarding potential assistance, which may include financial aid beyond existing compact funding. Several other Pacific Island nations, including Tuvalu, Solomon Islands, Fiji, Nauru, Vanuatu, the Cook Islands, and the Federated States of Micronesia, are also implementing measures to conserve fuel and manage their existing stocks, where INUSes. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.